Hello everyone, this is Johnny Cassatta, Center Plate Specialist for PFG Merchants Jackson. And today we're cutting a Braveheart chuck roll. A Braveheart is our Black Angus beef program that's high choice, and the cows are raised in Kansas in a marketing group. There's only 14 ranches that raise these cattle, and they're raised to certain specifics such as verified DNA and high choice or higher. One of the things that I love about the Braveheart product, particularly this chuck roll, is the trim. Typically the chuck rolls are a lot larger than the Bravehearts are processed, because they're coming from larger cattle. So our carcasses are 850 pounds or less. The competitors are at 1,100 pounds or less, up from 1,000. So if you can take a look at this product here, it's very squared off. One of the things is the leather. They call this the leather. I've been asked to do this to show how to merchandise for some retail operations like meat markets and grocery stores and things like that. However, this product can be used in restaurants for roasting. I even have some places using it for fajitas, for example. But one of the things that I find is what they call the leather. If you want to zoom in a little bit, this usually is a big piece of, we call it the leather, and it's basically a very tough piece of meat that's on the chuck roll, and you really need to cut this out before you do anything else. That's called the leather, and typically it's this big on most animals. So one of the things we do with retail is we're able to merchandise this a little bit better. We're going to do an English cross cut here, right here, about 2 inches into this side of the chuck roll. What we're going to get there is the Denver cut, and some places call this a Denver cut, some call it the boneless short rib. And you got a few little trimmings out of this that you'll get, but it's best to cut this out. And you can see where the bones are in between. These are the middle between the rib bones. Cut that little piece of fat off and trim this up real nice a little bit, and you've got the Denver cut. Or if you prefer, you can cut this, really you could cut it 3 times, a lot thinner. I like to cut it about a 1/2 inch thick, 3/4 of an inch. And then you've got the boneless short ribs. Look at the marbling, how beautiful that is. It's a high choice product, and it's evident, indicative in the intermuscular fat flakes that are in there. That's a great product. So then another thing that you can do for retail, or actually in a restaurant, is you can take this cut off, and this would be the chuck eye. This cut here can potentially be some sort of a steak or a boneless short rib, or different products like that. And this is the chuck eye steak. So what does that look like? Looks like a ribeye steak. So you can get a few of those off before you get into the roast. Really a simple product to cut. Good merchandising. You can charge a little bit more for these boneless short ribs, and you can definitely charge more for the chuck eye steak, or it's also AKA the mock ribeye. This end is where the ribeye meets the chuck, the 3 muscle bone. I'm sorry, 3 muscle product. So here we go. Now we're getting into some beautiful chuck roast. So I will continue to cut through here. I can get potentially all the way back to here before you start running out of product that would be good for roasting. This backside over here is good for stew meat or grinding ground chuck with. So, but before I close, I want you to notice how beautiful this roast is. Looking at the marbling in this product, And believe me when I tell you, it tastes as good as it looks. I've cooked them before, and they just, you know, very, very tender, very flavorful Angus beef. So with that, I want to thank Chef Jonathan for helping me, and thank you. And please don't hesitate to call me. I'm here for support for the customer and the AEMs and anybody else that needs me. Thank you.